Hello everybody, my name's Dan and I'm a technician and a trainer here at Climpson Sons. And you are a coffee snob that wants to learn about how to brew a Kalita wave, so you've come to the right place. Kalita wave is my favourite brew method, and I kind of know what I'm talking about because in 2016 I came third in a brewing competition, so kind of a big deal. We're going to be brewing the Uganda from Climpson Sons today. I love it, the acidity is wonderful, and the complexity and the clarity of the brewer make this really sing. How much coffee are you going to use? Well, I'm going to use 30 grams of coffee to 500 grams of water today because I always brew for 2 people every morning. This is a ratio of 16.6. So you take your dose, times it by 16.6, and that gives you how much water you need to use. That's 60 grams per litre if you want to do it that way. So I'm going to use filtered water from a filter jug. I'm not going to use bottled water because bottled water sucks. And I'm going to weigh out my water into my kettle. So I'm weighing in 550 grams, so I've got a little bit of buffer in there, and so I can rinse my paper with it later on. So I actually pre-weighed this because camera magic, and this is already preheated. So we're going to rinse our filter. So a top tip for rinsing the filter is it's going to go right in the middle and swirl just on the very bottom of it. And there'll be a cool close-up now showing you exactly how that works. So just pour straight into the center, and that'll stop it collapsing, as these papers are known to do. And I ground my coffee earlier, and I'm going to place my 30 grams of coffee right into my filter paper. So I'm going to shake that, make it nice and level, which you'll see on a cool close-up now. And now we're going to pour our bloom. So most people tell you to pour double the amount of coffee in water to get your bloom. I'm actually going to pour 75 grams of water on there. I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to do a nice hard pour because I want to saturate everything. I'm going to set my timer going. And to make sure it's all completely saturated, I'm going to give it a nice big swirl. Now, we're going to leave that to bloom for 45 seconds. Now, I am using the Uganda. You can use any coffee you like, as long as it's from Climpson Sons. If you like a dark roast, use a darker roast. If you like much lighter roast or funky coffees, you can use that as well. I'm just using this because I think this works particularly well with the Kalita wave. Now, after 45 seconds, we're going to go in with our first big pour. We're going to go from 75 grams all the way up to 200 grams, which is now. I do a nice hard pour because we used a conical grinder to grind this, which gives us a few extra fines. If we do a nice hard pour, those fines won't get trapped in the bottom of the paper, but around the side, which won't inhibit our brew time. Now you might find you've got some what we call high and dries at the side, which is coffee that's not beneath the water line. So if you do, you can just give it a tiny little swirl. That will knock those back into the water. So once we get to 1 minute 30, that's another 45 seconds, we're going to pour another 100 grams. We just want to pour in concentric circles. If you don't know what that means, basically a spiral. All the way up to 300 grams. Now I'm going to give that another 45 seconds. So when it gets to maths, 2 minutes 15, then we'll pour another 100 grams. Now you see it's draining quite quickly. It's because of that first hard pour, we've got rid of all those clogging fines. Cool, so we're on 2 minutes 15 and we're ready to pour. So I'd love to say that I came up with this method all by myself. But really, I've been stealing other people's ideas for years and putting them all into this one. I think it's about 4 different people's ideas that I put into this. It works really well. So we're nearly on our final pour. When we get up to 3 minutes, we're going to do our final 100 gram pour. And we're going to wait for it to draw down. Cool, so we'll just come up to 3 minutes. At this point, you just pray that you didn't pour too much water when you cleaned your filter. I think we're going to be just fine. Exactly 500. Told you it was kind of a big deal, kind of know what I'm doing. So drawdown time, we're looking for between 4 minutes 15 and 4 minutes 30. That's what works for me. It seems to be pretty universally a good drawdown time. But if you like your coffee with more acidity, feel free to grind your coffee coarser and have a quicker drawdown time. Or if you much prefer like super dark chocolate flavors, like a 90% dark chocolate, a lot of bitterness in there, then feel free to grind finer. I mean, it's your coffee, have it whichever way you want. Now, if you look around the sides here, we see a lot of fines up around the sides. I'm just gonna sort of just watch it. And if it takes too long, throw it away and start again. Don't throw it away and start again, it's wasteful. But by camera magic, this is definitely gonna be the perfect drink, regardless of whether it's the perfect drink or not. So, we're at 4 minutes 30. Let's use the wrong cup, so I'm going to get one from back here. Before you drink your filter, or any coffee, you need to make sure it's all mixed together. So you're going to mix it all together because you got at the very bottom the first part of the extraction, which is where we have a lot of acidity. Second part of the extraction, which is where we got our origin characteristics and our sweetness from. And the end of the extraction, which basically serves to dilute it. So if you don't mix it all together, you're not getting the best out of your coffee. So now all that's left to do is to taste your coffee. Clarity, complexity, sweetness, Kalita wave.